Have you ever felt that you're getting closer to awakening? Maybe you're meditating more, you're becoming more peaceful, you react less than you used to, you notice your thoughts, you understand the ego, and somewhere inside there is a quiet feeling. Something is changing, I am getting there. It sounds harmless, even spiritual, but according to Ramana Maharshi, there is something here worth looking at very carefully. Because the ego does not always resist your spiritual journey. Sometimes it joins it, and that may be one of its most subtle tricks. At first, spirituality can feel like a battle with the ego. You notice anger, fear, jealousy, attachment, the endless movement of thought, and you think, I need to get rid of all this. So you begin to practice. You meditate, you read, you inquire, you become more aware, and gradually you may begin to feel that you are making progress. But then something very subtle can happen. The ego changes clothes. It stops saying, I am better than everyone, and starts saying, I am more conscious than everyone. It stops taking pride in money, status, or possessions, and begins taking pride in silence, in detachment, in spiritual knowledge, in how long you can meditate, in how deeply you understand non-duality, and perhaps most subtly of all, it begins taking pride in how far you have progressed. This is where the spiritual ego becomes difficult to see, because ordinary ego is relatively easy to recognize. I am successful, I am intelligent, I am important, I am better than you. But spiritual ego can sound much more innocent. I am becoming more aware. I am less attached now. I have understood something others haven't. I am very close to awakening. And notice what all these statements have in common. There is still an I that is becoming, an I that is progressing, an I that is awakening, an I that is getting somewhere. And this is precisely where Ramana Maharshi's teaching becomes radical. He repeatedly brought attention back to one question: who am I? Not how can I become a better spiritual person? Not how can I become enlightened? Not how can I improve my consciousness? But simply, who is this I? Because think about it. If you say, I am becoming more aware, who is the I that is becoming more aware? If you say, I am getting closer to awakening, who is getting closer? And if you say, I have made great spiritual progress, who exactly has made that progress? Don't answer too quickly. This isn't a philosophical question. It's an invitation to look right now. Look at the feeling of me, not your name, not your biography, not your memories, just the immediate sense, I am here. Can you find it? Where is it? Is it a thought? A sensation? A feeling in the body? A collection of memories? Or is the sense of I itself appearing in awareness? This is where self-inquiry becomes very difficult from self-improvement. Self-improvement says, I need to become something. Self-inquiry asks, who is the one who needs to become something? And this changes the entire spiritual journey. Because if you believe you are a person traveling toward awakening, then awakening becomes another achievement, something you will eventually possess, a future state, a spiritual trophy, and the mind can keep you busy for years. One more book, one more retreat, one more meditation technique, one more realization, one more experience, one more teacher, one more breakthrough. Always one more thing. But notice the hidden assumption. The assumption is, I am not what I should be yet. And then the spiritual journey becomes an endless attempt to complete the person you believe yourself to be. This does not mean meditation is useless. It does not mean spiritual practice is useless. It does not mean you should stop seeking or stop living consciously. The point is much subtler. Watch what the ego does with your practice. Watch when meditation becomes something you're proud of. Watch when knowledge becomes an identity. Watch when detachment becomes another reason to feel superior. Watch when having fewer thoughts becomes a measurement of your spiritual worth. Watch when you secretly compare your awakening with someone else's. And especially watch the thought, I am getting closer. Because that thought can appear incredibly spiritual. Yet hidden inside it is the entire structure of the seeker. And perhaps this is the final trick. The ego does not have to convince you to abandon spirituality. It can convince you to become spiritual. It can give you a new identity, a more sophisticated identity, a quieter identity, an identity that talks about awareness instead of achievement, but an identity nonetheless. And once you see this, something very interesting happens. You don't have to fight the spiritual ego. You don't have to destroy it. You don't have to become less spiritual. You simply begin to notice it without judgment, without resistance, without creating another identity called the person who has transcended the ego. Because that would simply be the ego, wearing another mask. Ramana Maharshi's teaching points us back again and again to the source of the I. So the next time you notice yourself thinking, I am progressing, pause. Don't believe it. Don't reject it either. Just ask, who is progressing? When you think, I am becoming more awakened, ask, who is becoming awakened? And when the mind says, I am almost there, turn the attention around. Who is the one who wants to get there? You don't need to find an intellectual answer. In fact, an intellectual answer can become another thought. The invitation is to look directly, to turn attention back toward the one who is seeking. And perhaps in that looking, the seeker becomes strangely difficult to find. Maybe awakening isn't the achievement of the person you think you are. Maybe it is the seeing through of that very assumption. And perhaps the deepest danger on the spiritual path isn't that the ego will stop you from awakening. It's that the ego will convince you that it is the one awakening. So keep practicing, keep questioning, keep looking. But whenever you feel yourself becoming proud of your spiritual progress, pause for a moment and ask the question Ramana Maharshi kept pointing us toward. Who am I? Not as a mantra, not as an idea, but as a direct investigation. Because the final trick of the ego may not be to tell you, don't awaken. It may be much more subtle. It may whisper, you are awakening. And the moment you believe it, the seeker is back. If this question speaks to you, stay with it. And if you would like to explore more teachings on self-inquiry, the ego and awakening, consider subscribing to Spiritual Wisdom.